let's go into the supervised learning. There are two different types of algorithm in that. We have classification and regression. Classification and regression. So now by the name itself, you can understand like classification, in which we try to divide the data into set of distinct classes. And regression means you are trying to predict some continuous numerical value. Okay. So for example, I'll give some example of the task, and I'll tell if that is a classification or regression. So let's say if you are going to predict someone's height by his weight, like what is the weight? Let's forget about it. Let's say you are going to calculate someone's height by artificial intelligence, someone's height by artificial intelligence, no matter what the input data is. So what kind of problem will it be? So that will be a regression problem, because what we are going to predict, we are going to predict the height, and height can be anything in between, let's say like 1 foot to 7 or 8 foot even. That's the also achievable height by people. So like 1 foot to 7, 8 foot in this range, you are going to predict any number, right? It could be anything, literally anything. Like it could be 6.5084. It could be one of the value that you want to predict, right? So that will be a regression task, right? Similarly, what could be the classification task? Let's say if I want to predict male or female, right? Male or female. So now there are classes. There is a class male, there is a class female, right? So if there are distinct classes, then that will be thought of as a classification. If there are categories, there are distinct categories like male and female, there cannot be anything in between male or female. Like just ignore the other gender, or you can also include that as well. Like for example, transgender as well. So there cannot be anything more than these three, right? So then it will be a classification task. So this kind of task will be a classification task. But here you are going to calculate the continuous numerical value. Right? Here, category. Okay. So in this case, you are going to predict anything in between 1 to 8 feet, right? It could be literally anything. So now this is one of the examples. The other example would be, let's say you want to predict someone's salary, right? Now salary can be anything 0 to like any number, like let's say 0 to 10 lakhs, or let's say 50 lakhs, or even 1 crore. If you want to going to predict any number in between this, literally it can be anything. Let's say 30,286.56. It also could be this number. Someone's salary can be this particular number as, right? And literally it can be anything in between these two numbers, right? Or even you can go further of this, right? So this would be a regression task. Once again, continuous numerical value. But if you want to predict, let's say, other than like not the salary, let's say, what we can say, let's say whether they earn less than or more than 10 lakhs an annum, like. So if you want to predict whether they earn more than or less than, so there are only two possible categories. First one is the less than 10 lakhs, less than or equal to, and then next one is the more than 10 lakhs. So there are only two possible categories. So once again, that will be classification. Let's say you want to predict the number or the percentage of the of some student, right? Let's say based on his previous performance, you want to predict that how much percentage he will get in the main examination. right? It could get like it could be anything in between 0 to 100. The percentage could be anything in between 0 to 100. And like it could be literally anything like, let's say 72.86% or anything like 56.3%. Other than this, let's say if you are going to predict the whether the students is pass or fail, right? So this will be a classification task. Or you want to predict the grade. Now grade can be, let's say anything A, B, C, D, E, and F. A, B, C, D, E, and F. There cannot be anything other than that, like A, B, C, D. I mean, if you have, let's say A plus, B plus, then just ignore it. There cannot be anything other than these 6 values, right? So this will be also a classification task, right? In classification, if you have fixed number of categories, right? Fixed number of categories, then that will be thought of as a classification. And once again, continuous numerical value will be regression.